Was Abby right? We were first introduced to Abby in a flashback scene in season 1. She was a loving wife and Iron Marine, helping her dedicated husband Boyd transition to his new life as Mr. Fish and Lowe's to boat captain. When they arrived in town, it was becoming sundown and they were greeted by Father Khatri, who alerted them to the extreme danger growing as the darkness creeps in. Not playing any games or taking any risks, Abby flashes her government-issued Glock to alert Father Khatri that they are not the ones to play with. I know police, correction officers, and government-issue officers have to keep their weapons secure, but Abby kept hers at arm's length. Hearing the screams of the creatures, they left their vehicle and hid underground with Father Khatri, Donna, and Dale. The scenes skip to the diner and then fast forward to Boyd itching to explore the surrounding forest. We don't see much of Abby at this time, except Ellis wishing Boyd to speak to her. From this time skip, we know it was about 2 weeks when Ellis says, "You've been going into the woods for weeks." From this, we assume Abby was investigating the town on her own, and she herself may have come across the mysteries of the town or had visions. I'm sure she's the one who would have seen the symbol, but there is no proof. The only information we have from that time was after Boyd got back from the forest and he found the talismans. Abby was already in front of the diner, unloading shot after shot after shot on the townspeople. Boyd was put in a tough situation when Ellis ran around the corner during the shooting and Abby appeared to raise her gun towards Ellis, and Boyd, seeing this, immediately fired twice. The question here is, after being married for 15 years, did he think Abby would shoot her only son? Whether or not he thought she would, he shot her anyway. Of course, this strained the relationship with Ellis and Boyd. Even though Boyd found the talismans to save the town, he wasn't able to save his family. This problem we see Boyd face over and over again on From is called the Trolly Problem, which is a moral dilemma where in the trolley problem, a person is faced to make a decision between those two ethical judgments, sacrificing one person or saving many, or the opposite, killing 5 to save 1. During this town massacre, Abby said to Boyd that this was what she saw in a dream as a kid, and she had to wake everyone up, and death was the only way out. Boyd, not understanding what she was saying, tried to talk her down, but as we all know, was unable. Continually occupied with saving the town, then connecting or rekindling with his son after Father Khatri died, Boyd followed Father Khatri's wishes and took Sarah into the forest to see and find an escape. Backtracking on this information, they saw 2 things that brought them close to what we know as the end of the quest: the bottle tree and the lighthouse. I do believe the bottle tree has more significance than what we saw, and even though all the pieces of the puzzle weren't there, a little more time should have been taken at this tree, granted that nothing else around it looks like this and it has to be special. Boyd did manage to pull a bottle down, but did not know what the message inside meant when the date said 1864. The next time we see Abby is on that same journey. Boyd appears to hear a voice and Abby call out his name, and then a vision starts of him seeing what looks like her. As he gets closer and closer, it looks like Abby, but wrapped in a spider's web, and then she grabs him at the same time he steps on a spider's nest. As fans, we didn't know what this meant, and even though there was many mention as fans, We didn't know what this meant, and even though there was many mentions from Sarah of a voice trying to tell her things, and she didn't know what they meant. And when she did tell Boyd it was Mr. Fish and Loaves, he immediately understood that there was only one person who could have known that. We often seen in flashbacks of Boyd going back to her grave, talking to her or asking her for advice. But the real impact of her being gone returns in season 2 when Boyd is with Martin and he asks, does he ever think Abby was right? Was it all a dream? To further push the dream theory, Martin, the cellar, and whatever they were at disappeared, and Boyd was left standing alone in the woods. An interesting fact was pointed out during my live stream with Taryn when he mentioned in his tarot theory that the torch was important and if turned upside down would flip from place to place. Compared to that situation, the place didn't disappear until Boyd lit the torch. Was he in another dimension? Is that why everything disappeared? We see another flashback in season 2, episode 8 of Abby telling Boyd to come back to her. At this point, with all these flashbacks, we have to assume that Abby is really trying to communicate with him. Come back to me sounds like she's someplace and he isn't. Could Boyd be in a hospital bed with Abby next to him, telling him to come back out of a coma? Or was this just another vision? There's absolutely no connection if all the residents of From are from different places. So if they were all in a coma, they wouldn't be at the same hospital and there's no way for Abby to be able to get messages to Sarah, especially if Sarah, according to the map or where she was found, was near Boston, and Boyd, Abby, and Ellis were near Virginia. Abby would have to be at that Virginia hospital as well. Whether or not this is all a dream, the evidence in writing on the show pushes that narrative. Us fans do want more mystery, and we wanted Jade's tech simulation to be real because we know that the answer to this has to be somewhere in the episodes. And it seems like, I hate to say it, is a dream. Part of the nuptials and progressions of a better husband is to listen to your wife. And in this situation, Boyd needs to listen to his wife, Abby. Thank you all for watching, and thank you to all the new followers. Please subscribe and help me get to 1,000 followers. Of course, I love to know your theory, so please, as always, let's discuss in the comments.